bless to your service those who will have new roles from this day forward. Help us all to be people of integrity as we carry out the duties and responsibilities that have been entrusted to us. We ask that you give us patience and understanding as we think together at future meetings about the many different demands that are placed upon us. We ask too that you enable us to balance what is possible with the hopes and expectations of our community. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. Now, if you're able to, please join me in saying the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Following the standard agenda, agenda item number, apologies for absence. Please stand by.
I received apologies for absence, Your Worship, from Councillor Nick Campbell-White, Councillor Lynn Ford, Councillor Daniel Hinton, Councillor Jane Ainsley and Councillor Elizabeth Bishop.
Thank you very much. Agenda item number 2 is communication. I'd like to bring Councillors' attention to my engagement since the last council meeting, in fact my engagement and the Deputy Mayor's engagement. And I really want to highlight Maya's Refillables. We've opened another retail unit with help of the Borough Council, don't get me wrong. We've opened more shops, I've said this over and over again, we've opened more shops in Woking than we've closed over the last few years. Fantastic news. Thank you very much. Hi Sheriff, hi Steward, Borough Mayor, ladies and gentlemen. I've really enjoyed being representing the council as the town and the town as its mayor, along with my mayoress, my wife Claire. We've had the pleasure of meeting and thanking so many people as their mayor and mayoress. We've probably been a bit old-fashioned, but have really loved being together on so many appointments. 100 appointments already this year. There won't be 101. We often look back to where we first started wearing the chains in lockdown. We visited the town council allotments in our best clothes and shoes and melted in the warmth of the lockdown summer. We moved on to meeting and getting to love our market traders, and we still have a laugh and swap insults with many of them now. Popping into the shops, Priest Avenue, Norries, Tesco's, Morrison's, as well as the town centre ones, which was always fun. Mostly we got welcomed with a smile, sometimes a big moan, but that's part of the job. Then we moved on to thanking the charities that have helped so many of our residents, both during that lockdown, and have now been continuing to do so now that fuel poverty and inflation have taken over. And we ended our term with the May Fair as life returns to normal. A very turbulent couple of emotional years. You can guess why I wouldn't want to do a third. On the vast majority of these appointments, Claire has been at my side. She was even my prompter at many video and virtual engagements. I would like to invite my wife Claire, current mayoress, up to thank her in public for being my mayoress for those 2 long years. There were a few appointments we couldn't do, so Maria, as Deputy Mayor, stepped in for us, with Chris. Councillor Maria G is our Chair of Finance and Personnel, and I'm happy to say that our finances are in great shape. But I want to thank Maria for being around to cover me when we could not do our duties. Maria. Thanks, Maria. Owing to lockdowns of various flavours and time when we could not meet and they couldn't meet, it took a while for us to get to visit the target of my mayor's charity, the 3rd Wokingham Mayor's Own Scout Group. We dressed up in our finest and went to taste and judge an inter-patrol cooking competition. The good news is that nobody died of the cooking, although at least one of the mayoral party, where's David, hiding, did not taste all the dishes. But for me, it was a brilliant success. The main characters behind this event, and many more besides, were Margaret and Mac, stalwarts of 3rd Wokingham for eons. I would like to invite them up to receive the proceeds, a rather decent-sized cheque in both meanings of the word. So, Mac and Margaret, if you would, please. Thanks, Dan. We're going to come out the front there because it's kind of special. It's also been a couple of tough years for our churches owing to these lockdowns. They had to close a lot. They had limited numbers and periods of non-singing. Canon Richard Lamy of St Paul's nicknamed me the Lockdown Mayor. Not a title I enjoyed, but reasonably accurate. Claire and I did manage to attend many church events, especially over the Advent period and more recently at Easter. And Judy Hattaway has served throughout as my chaplain, joining us at full council and other formal events. I'd like to thank Judy for her support in what I know has been a tough time for her as well. Cheers, Judy. Where do you want to go? You tell us.
You come over here.
Thank you so much.
Cheers, Judy. Thank you so much. Good. We didn't know it, but after we had selected Joseph to be mini-mayor, there he is, looking down, we discovered that he was one of the scouts at 3rd Wokingham as well. And no, his patrol did not win the cooking competition. Joseph has been our mini-mayor since the beginning of the current school year, and he joins me in retiring today. I know he's had a great time, especially when winning a ferret race at Heritage Day and locking his sister in the allotment loo we had just opened together. He's not getting a pension, but I have a couple of gifts for him for doing such a wonderful job for us. Joseph, if you could come to the front. As mayor and chair of the council, it's never clear if Jan, our town clerk, reports to me or me to her. I've never told her off, but she has told me off. So maybe that clarifies the situation. I'm going to miss the regular and irregular phone calls from Jan telling me about the latest issues. I won't bore you with the details, but it varies from litter to behaviour, from borough council issues to charity success, and from our wonderful parks to street events. I hope that the next mayor will benefit as much as I have from Jan's knowledge and guidance. Jan, if you will. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jan. In addition to Jan keeping me up to date, I had Nikki Paler, who managed both Claire and me whenever we did anything as mayor and mayoress. Nikki Paler is our civic officer, who puts on events like this one today, and the Remembrance Day Parade, and so on. She's also the Mayor's Secretary. I worked as an engineer for many, many years and never had a secretary, and for this 2 years, I've had a secretary. She's been my supportive guide for the terms of office. Her experience really helped when we had non-standard things to do. Her kindness helped when we were struggling. Even the minutiae were covered. For example, did you know that if a mayor is invited to a parish outside his own, the civic officer has to obtain permission from that mayor or that mayor's civic officer for them to go and wear the chain in that parish. Her tasks, like her patience, are endless. I cannot begin to say how much Nikki has done for Claire and me over the years, and I'd like to thank Nikki for that. Another person who's helped us out considerably is David Dunham, our mace bearer, but also our close support officer, also known as Mayor's Attendant. I have to admit it wasn't easy having someone close up helping you to get dressed. This can't be put on by one person alone. When we're also scared of close contact with folk outside our family. But he managed, so thank you, David. You go here. Go on in. Oh, I go with that. We go around the front. Thank you. In case you're interested, I haven't touched the lace yet. Ever. No. Never let me. It's not mine, it's his. And I'm still not sure if he was there to protect me or to protect the chains. As a town council with a civic remit, we're lucky enough to have a small band of honorees. Nigel, our town crier. Jim, our parade marshal. Damon, our bugler. Bernard, our meteorologist. And our 4 constables, Neil, David, Martin and Stan. They put the polish onto our formal events, so thank you guys for doing that. Sometimes retiring mayors donate a gift to the town at the end of their term. Claire and I made our donation at the end of our first year, a stave topper. Stan, please would you come forward to show our guests one of the staves? So Stan is retiring after 20 years of service with the town council. Okay. Stan used to be a traffic warden in Reading, so boo if you want. He's been very, very supportive of our council, and he's now realised and accepted the fact that his marching days are over. But he's still involved with the Salvation Army, a drum, I believe, in the band. Okay? And no doubt we'll still see him at Heritage Day and events like that, and meet him in the marketplace for a chat. Okay, so thanks, Stan, for your service. If you can just stay there a minute for one photograph, and then we're going to go for him. Okay. Nigel, would you like to take can Nigel take the stage? Nigel, around? Yeah, Nigel, take the stage. Oh, lovely, thank you. Stan, on behalf of the council, thank you so much for your 20 years of long service with the conduct. One of our treasures. Can I have my glasses? Stan is now retiring, as I said. Okay. Poor man. My role as mayor is actually chair of the council. And while I've gone on about how Claire and I have had to adapt to a different normal, so have the councillors that I serve. The brilliant success for Wokingham Town Council is that it has continued to work remotely, with limited numbers, outdoor meetings, one-way systems, larger venues. So thank you for the Borough Council for that. Masked, unmasked. So I really want to thank our councillors for putting up with 2 years of grief and struggle, for continuing with their tasks, and for being the flexible, supporting people they all are. So thank you, guys. Councillors know me for my fight against unclever graffiti, which links me to one of my proudest moments, unveiling the mural in the plaza down in Denmark Street, which Emma Merchant created for us. I still see people stopping to take a look every time I come past. Unlike Emma's artistic talents, mine are limited to wallpapering the small panel beside it, again to stop graffiti. I'm currently glad to say that the mural has had no unwanted attention in its year of existence. But Claire and I have experienced so many other things. Blind sportsmen as motivational speakers for Berkshire Vision, young gymnasts at Pinewood, marching with the High Sheriff, our own events such as the Fun Day and Heritage and the Mayfair and Winter Carnivals. But our overwhelming memories will be of all the people we have met that give their time and effort and money to charities to help all sorts of people in our community of Wokingham with all sorts of issues and in all sorts of ways. Thank you.
Well, I think today we're saying farewell to 3 great members of the team, Tony and Claire. Thank you very much for all you have done. And also to Stan, who, Tony, who have mentioned, has served us well for 20 years and has obviously done a very sterling job, because we still have the same mace that existed all those years ago, and David and the constables have looked after that terribly well. So thank you all very much for that. Tony and Claire, you have been great ambassadors for the town. You've done a great service, especially during this dreadful pandemic, when you've had to go at sea when you could, or else it was done on video or by filming, which I think, by the way, will give you another bow to your string. Is that right? No, string to your bow. Because now we're opening the Shinfield Film Studios. With all the experience you have in filming, I'm sure they will be chasing you to come and work with them. So as you've said, you've visited all the stalls, the market stalls, the allotments, the churches, etc., and all the medical staff and their volunteers who helped with the injections. But you didn't mention the one that I believe was your favourite, and that was when you had to attend. It was imperative that you, as the mayor, attended the opening of the town brewery. I'm sure that was very difficult for you, but I'm sure that everybody thanks you for that. And also you mentioned about the painting and or the mural which was put up, and that you didn't have the same sort of skills, but I think you're underplaying your abilities, because I'm not sure if you know, but Tony is a skilled basket weaver. So I was actually expecting your gift to the council would have been a large basket that could have displayed your talents for everyone in the future. And the other thing that you did look very resplendent in your regalia, and Joseph, you as mini-mayor, you made quite an impression when you walked through the marketplace, displaying all this regalia. And I've heard it from some people, because of the pandemic, Tony and Claire couldn't wear all this sparkling gear on a lot of occasions. So every opportunity that presented itself to you, you jumped at that to wear the stuff. And I believe I've heard from people who know that you actually might wear it around the house sometimes to create an impression. Tony and Claire, you've been a credit to the town. I think you've done a sterling job, and I'm sure I speak for all the councillors. You've done a great job, and thank you very much for all you've done. And Stan, thank you very much too.
I invite nominations for the office of Town Mayor for Wokingham for the ensuing year.
I will propose that Councillor Maria G be elected Town Mayor for the ensuing year.
I second the proposal.
Okay, I get to give a short speech. Okay. With what has been happening over the last couple of years, I was beginning to think this day would never come. Obviously, Tony has outlined what's been happening with COVID and everything over the last couple of years. But here we are, finally, and Maria has been our deputy for those 2 years, during the last 2 years, and during some very difficult times. She tells me that she has lived in Wokingham area since 1984. Her children went to school here, and I think she should be a great mayor for Wokingham in 2022 to 2023. And along with her husband Chris, they will be good ambassadors for Wokingham, and I hope that it goes well. Thank you.
I'm delighted to have seconded Councillor G as Wokingham's Town Mayor, bring along Chris, her consort. I know Councillor G will bring along graciousness and enthusiasm to the role, with her strong support for the community and local businesses. Wishing you a wonderful mayoral year.
Are there any other nominations?
I've received no further nominations for worship.
It has been proposed by Councillor Shepherd Bay and seconded by Councillor Dennis that Councillor Maria G is elected Town Mayor for the ensuing year. Councillors, all those in favour? Any against? The motion is carried.
I hereby declare that Councillor Maria G has been elected Town Mayor of Wokingham for the ensuing year.
Can you all please be outstanding whilst the Mayor of the party leaves? High Sheriff of Berkshire, Deputy Lieutenant and High Steward of Wokingham, Wokingham Borough Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, can you please be upstanding for the newly elected Town Mayor of Wokingham?
I invite the new Town Mayor to make her declaration of office. I, Councillor Maria G, having been elected to the office of Mayor of Wokingham Town Council, declare that I take office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgments and ability. of Deputy Town Mayor of Wokingham for the ensuing year. It is usual for the Town Mayor to indicate their wishes, and in this respect, my nominee is Councillor Sally Jones.
I wish to propose Councillor Gurney.
I would like to second Councillor Gurney, surprisingly.
Are there any other nominations? I have received no further nominations, Your Worship. It has been proposed by Councillor Malvern and seconded by Councillor Malvern. Councillor Gurney is Deputy Mayor for the ensuing year. Councillors, all those in favour? Anybody against? I declare Councillor Gurney elected as Deputy Town Mayor for the ensuing year. And it's great that he's got a birthday. So, Councillor Gurney, you can roll. Okay, so now we're going to have the residents' quartet. High Sheriff of Berkshire, Deputy Lieutenant and High Steward of Wokingham, Wokingham Borough Mayor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. As Imogen mentioned, I've lived in Wokingham for almost 40 years, since I moved here to live with Chris after university. My children were brought up here, so we have grown up with the town and through its many changes. It is therefore with a feeling of great honour and excitement, and a little bit of trepidation, that I look forward to the coming year. Thank you to all councillors who elected me as mayor, and also to my proposer and seconder. My thanks must also go to my family and friends for supporting me over the years, even if they are sometimes baffled by my career and life choices. My only sadness is that my mum could not be here. She would have been very proud. Over the past 2 years as Deputy Mayor, I have learned a lot about what it is to be Mayor from Tony. He and Claire worked extremely hard during a very difficult time, and I give sincere thanks to them. Chris and I have pledged to bring the level of dedication that Tony and Claire have to our roles so that the individuals, groups and businesses that we meet know how much they are valued and respected in the town. I would like now to introduce the Mayor's charity for the year. Kaleidoscopic UK was founded by Vicky Robertson, and she's here with us today with Laura. Vicky? In January 29, to support survivors of domestic abuse. Domestic abuse describes any type of abuse that is used to control and obtain power. It can include physical, emotional, and financial abuse. 1 in 3 women, 1 in 5 children, and 1 in 6 men will be subject to domestic abuse at some point in their lives. I first met Vicky just over 2 years ago, and I was so moved by what she was doing that I made her a promise to support Kaleidoscopic should I ever become mayor, and here we are. After her experience of childhood and adult domestic abuse, Vicky was inspired to help others in similar situations to find the support they need. Kaleidoscopic is uniquely survivor-led and threshold-free, meaning that anyone subjected to any form of abuse can access ongoing support for as long as they need. Any money raised for the Mayor's charity will support the Educate to Eradicate programme in Wokingham schools. The programme focuses on the prevention of abuse as well as providing support for children. Kaleidoscopic UK is about changing patterns after domestic abuse. Domestic abuse may change people, but it does not need to define people. Our town has many inspirational individuals and organisations, of which Kaleidoscopic is one. We aim to be a truly welcoming, inclusive community. The Town Council serves its whole community and recognises that Wokingham is distinct, both in terms of its market status, but also through its unique service delivery of arts and culture and its contribution to civic life within the town. We aim to achieve our goals in a sustainable way. I am committed to these values, and as Mayor, I will do my best to help the Council to live its vision of enhancing Wokingham Town for its existing and future residents and businesses. Thank you.
I propose that the current honoraries remain in post.
I'm happy to second the motion.
It has been proposed by Councillor Bishop Firth and seconded by Councillor Lucy that the following continue in their appointments. Mr Nigel Hopkins as Honorary Town Crier, Mr David Ashley Down as Honorary Constable, Mr Martin Bishop as Honorary Constable, Mr Neil Hodgson as Honorary Constable, Mr Bernard Burton as Honorary Meteorologist, Mr David Eames as Honorary Bugler, Captain James Patel as Honorary Parade Marshal. Councillors, all those in favour? Anyone against? The motion is carried. I propose that this meeting be adjourned until Tuesday, 17th of May at 7:30 p.m. Could I have a seconder, please?
I wish to second the motion that the meeting be adjourned.
Councillors, all those in favour? I therefore declare this meeting adjourned until 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday, 17th of May. After the national anthem, we are going to invite you to join us for refreshments, which will be the completion of the ceremony. Please stand for the national anthem. And now we will sing. Thank you.
Would you all please remain standing whilst the mayoral party leads?